That was an excerpt from the beginning of the first scene of the film and the first real acceleration of the plot. Editing was always at the forefront of our minds in the filmmaking process. The story's about changing perspectives, whether that's between the two characters, whether it's between reality and hallucination, or the camera being objective or subjective. We began the process after the scripting process by drawing up a storyboard. It served as a basis in the production process of as a reference point on site. It meant we had everything blocked in the edit suite. It gave us the ability to pre-visualize the arc of the scene, the map of the scene, and even more how scenes knitted together. We could see the end shot, or the intended end shot of one scene, and how that connected to the scene after. So editing and piecing our story together through visual language was always in the forefront of our minds, even as we were just putting the narrative finishing touches on the script. Whatever they do on professional films, we have to get as close to doing that as possible. So our post-production process has included sound redesigning, it's included extensive color correction and color grading, it's included working alongside a composer to create a score and to create a soundtrack to the film. It's been about reshoots, it's been about draining the narrative and draining the emotion of each edit as far as possible. By dubbing over things, we're able to give individual sounds more echo, more reverb. We give them maybe a little bit more prominence in the sound mix compared to other things. Our visual effects work in the post-production stage of the film was mostly about, we'd seen a lot of student films and we'd seen a lot of films which are totally reliant on visual effects, on green screening, and we tried to achieve as much as we could to capture this authenticity of this everyday man going through a particularly difficult struggle. We tried to capture as much reality in camera as possible. Any scene where an audience member can see her ring is a scene in which the narrative can be undermined, and so we employed visual effects as a weapon to remove those mistakes that we'd made in the production process.
Hello?
Hello? Have you been missold PPI in the last 5 years? We can help.
Do you want to say goodbye?
stand where you're welcome to sit. Would you like me to show you to your room? It's just through there.
Our composer was working without seeing any of the clips for about 3 months on just building something sonically that resonated with what he'd seen on the page. And as more of the film was getting tightened and graded and we were designing entire soundscapes, we began to feed him sometimes scenes, sometimes clips, and it's been an interesting collaborative process in hearing how somebody interprets firstly what you write, and secondly what they see and what you make.
Sorry, it needs a bit more tension.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot, but I think it needs to be a little bit less only you-ish, if you know what I mean. Otherwise, we're gonna start getting over on that one. Post-production process has been the longest. It's been the most difficult of any Susu TV production that certainly I've been involved with, but probably that most people have been involved with here. And we think it's made one of our most professional pieces yet.